Great Scott. Great Scott. Great Scott.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V. Thanks for watching. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about Joss Whedon's role on Justice League. There's a couple of issues. One is we really have no idea how the movie's going to turn out or what Joss Whedon's involvement will mean until we watch the movie. It looks as though the writing credit means that he's directed or produced at least a third of the film. That's how the rules work for the WGA. And if he's done so, then that means he's considerably contributed to the project. And therefore, by the rules and also by fairness, he deserves to have said writing credit. The question on the directing credit still unsure, probably be a co-director of some kind, but the question is how it will alter the mood of the film, the feeling of the film. One insider, Mark Hughes, who I guess kind of reports on all things DC and seems to have people in the know that tell him things, has been commenting on the rumors and has said that to his knowledge, he's been told Whedon has rewritten up to 24 pages of the script, or almost 24 pages of the script, that some characters have been completely cut, some scenes have been completely changed and rewritten, and new scenes have been written within those 24 pages. That's a lot, and I guess that's a third. That would account for a third of what has gone on with the film. That and the cuts that have been made, I guess they can somehow make a determination that he then contributed a third to the overall finishing product of the movie. We know that Zack Snyder decided he had to step down, but we also know that he's the one who contacted Joss Whedon and had him come on board to help, and then he handed the reins over to him to finish up the final process of reshooting the movie. The question is, did Warner Brothers or DC really have anything to do with him doing that? Were they really the ones behind it, or are we being told? Because it seems to change constantly. Initially it was Whedon's doing very little. He was already there. He rewrote some stuff with Zack Snyder. It's keeping his vision. He's just a rewriter. He's not even getting any kind of a credit. And then it changed to a writing credit. Now we're talking about, how the directing credit's going to go, how much he's done. A third of the movie. That's a good portion of the film. Here's the thing. I have enjoyed both Avengers movies that he was the director of. So as a creative force behind both of those movies that, to me, were very, very good, it really shouldn't be that big of a deal that he's helping with Justice League. He's got some experience in that venue. He's the one who brought the first really successful superhero grouping of heroes together to screen. Everyone loved it. It's made billions of dollars. And the second one, also billions of dollars, very successful, very loved. He's known for his witty banter. He's known for comedic interplay between characters. He's known for chemistry between characters. At least in recent times, the DC characters seem to team up begrudgingly for the most part. They're not best friends. They don't love each other. They aren't necessarily versus each other in every instance. But, Aquaman has his own ideas. I'm sure he's going to, have somewhat of an attitude. If you watch the animated series, he was totally separate down in his kingdom. And he came up and told people how it was going to be and pushed people aside and did what he wanted. He couldn't really be a member of the Justice League on that show, although he did work with them several times because he was a king in his own right and didn't want to be a part of a team. Sort of the same as how Batman normally is. And Superman also operates alone, but he generally brings a more leadership, morality type role. And we're kind of in muddy waters in terms of who the leader will be and into who brings inspiration, since Superman has kind of had a controversial role in the new DCEU so far because people have been on different sides in terms of whether he really acts like Superman should act, or whether he's the Superman we want, or whether he's a good leader, or whether he's heroic enough considering the killing of Zod, although it was a necessity, and considering that the whole world up until the last moments of Batman v Superman seem to have issues with him. But as the new movie gets closer to release, I'm sure we'll find out more information. Other than tone, since Zack Snyder's tone is much, much different in general than Joss Whedon's tone is. Joss Whedon's much more comedic, light, and fluffy. Zack Snyder's much heavier, deeper, and darker. It's going to be interesting to see how those two styles come together and if they complement or hurt each other, or if what we originally heard, that Joss Whedon was really just staying within the tone of what Zack Snyder had established and just doing the reshoots, which happen on every major movie, although it sounds like it's a lot more than that, with 24 pages and then characters being cut and such, but maybe he and Zack Snyder talked about it together and that was what they had decided they were going to do. And we know, that has been announced, that there's going to be more banter between the characters since Joss Whedon came in. That was his job to do. People have their strengths and weaknesses. I don't know that Zack Snyder's is necessarily witty banter between characters, and Joss Whedon's probably isn't heavy, dark, shadowy overtones. So maybe the two of them together can get a Justice League movie that more fans will enjoy, and we're only going to know when we see that. So let's find out, November 17th? Thanks everyone for watching. And remember, always look up in the Sniden sky.